Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:33 p.m. Adoption of the agenda. Be it resolved that council adopt the agenda as amended with the addition of the following items under in camera, item 13.2, Red River Planning Board issue. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Slater, seconder. Councilor Dornbos, all vote in favor.
Wait. You shut it off.
Okay, it's got. I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor Mareki, would you like to read the land acknowledgement, please?
I would like to acknowledge that the rural municipality of St. Andrews is located on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji, Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration.
Thank you. Next, we have the open of the public hearings. Be it resolved that council hereby open the public hearings for the following planning applications scheduled for November 10th, 2025 at 5:30. Zoning bylaw amendment number 4419 and conditional use number 52225. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Dornbos, seconder. Councilor Feeble-Coin, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried.
Okay.
Okay, welcome everyone to the planning portion of the council meeting. The hearing will proceed as follows. Red River Planning staff will present the application. The applicant will then make a presentation on the application. Those registered in support will make a presentation. Those registered as opposed will then make a presentation. The applicant will then have the opportunity to respond to comments or concerns raised by council members or presenters. At the end of each presentation, council may ask for clarification but will not enter into debate. Please note, all persons speaking must address the chair one at a time. You will be called upon. At the end of the presentations, council will close the public hearing. Once public hearing is closed, there will be no more presentations accepted on the matter, and discussion at that point will be amongst council, not the audience. Council will then consider each matter separately and will provide a decision. Thank you. We'll now proceed. The first matter is zoning bylaw amendment number 4419. Ms. Essman, would you like to present the do your presentation, please?
For sure, Madam Mayor. Just a second. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is a zoning bylaw amendment application BL 4419, and proposal is to amend the RM of St. Andrews zoning bylaw through the refinements aimed at aligning zoning regulations with the recent amendments to the building bylaw. These changes support district-wide harmonization efforts across the Red River Planning District. These proposed updates include text amendments only. No changes to the zoning designation or property zoning are included. The proposed amendments include the topics of construction, timing, permit application requirements, geotechnical reports, and pool hot tubs too. Our analysis of that bylaw, that RPD notes that this alignment will improve clarity for users, reduce regulatory conflicts, and promote streamlined development process throughout the district by removing outdated references, in the Building and Mobile Homes Act, removing outdated regulations, also refining text to reflect current requirements and practices. Also, the proposed amendment includes the topic of construction timing, permit application requirements, geotechnical reports, pools, and hot tubs. Commenting agencies and department had no concern for this application after our circulation to them, and our recommendation here to give a second reading for this application.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions of honor? Okay. Well, I see on the sign-in sheet, there's no one here unless that someone walk in late that's here for this zoning bylaw amendment. Hearing from none, then we will proceed later on with the second reading. Next item is conditional use number 522025, Chalet Beach Road. Madam Planner, could you please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So yes, this is a conditional use application CU 522025, located on Chalet Beach Road. And the purpose of that application is to establish a recreation, commercial use, seasonal service recreational facility for camping trailers and RVs on subject property zoned A80 agriculture general zone. As per zoning bylaw of St. Andrews, in A80 agriculture general zone, the recreational commercial activity or use is conditional, hence the conditional use for, and they proposing seasonal service recreational facility for camping trailers and RVs. Here we can see our location map of the subject property and some site plan from the applicant with the proposed development on the site, and also some detailed measurements of each parking slot and conditions of approval. Should council wish to approve this application, the RPD recommends the following conditions. This conditional use is limited to what is in presented. Any other changes will require new conditional use approval. Applicant owner obtains all required permits from us and municipality if required. Approval is limited to what is proposed in this application. Any increase to the number of the camping spots or future phases of development will require separate conditional use approval. Applicant owner shall provide the municipality with engineering, block grading, and drainage plan, along with a concept plan for secondary points of egress to Chalet Beach Road for renewal and approval by municipality prior to the commencement of on-site construction, excluding private approach construction and required tree clearing. The secondary egress road shall be constructed to a minimum width of 15 feet. Gravel surfacing is not required at this time. Internal road network shall be constructed to a minimum width of 15 feet per submitted site plan, and applicant owner shall obtain the private approach permit from the municipality prior to construction of any access approach. Approaches shall be constructed to a minimum top width of 30 feet. All camping spots shall be revised via individual well and holding tank. The operation shall provide on-site washrooms and hand washing facilities. To use and operation on the property shall comply with municipality's noise bylaw. Applicant owner is responsible for implementing internal controls to ensure compliance by all users and guests. Applicant owner shall maintain the site and all individual camping sites in a clean and orderly condition such that it does not become unsightly. Applicant owner is responsible for implementing internal controls to prevent and address unsightly conditions by users and guests. Applicant owner shall comply with the municipality burning bylaw and it's responsible for implementing internal controls to ensure that all users and guests also adhere to the bylaw. The site shall be subject to annual inspection by the St. Andrews Fire Department and to assist with the incorporation of the fire smart principles, and a vehicle parking associated with operation shall be contained on site within dedicated parking area or individual camping slots. Parking along the Chalet Beach Road or internal road network will not be permitted. And to last one, all signage shall comply with the municipality zoning bylaw, and applicant owner shall obtain an annual business license from RM. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions on the plan? We'll call upon the applicant, Tony Textera. Would you like to make a presentation?
Thank you. It's okay. What I've also brought with me somebody that will actually show has a bit of a slideshow that's a little bit prepared. So if you can give that to Valentina, I'm going to lead off and just do an intro, and she can speak to it after, and I'll be available for
Oh, that's a problem. Brendan, can you do that, please? Yeah. My computer is not gonna.
Do you need this right now, or is this to follow?
the follow. Oh, I can get started. Good evening, Madam Mayor and councillors. My name is Tony Texera, and as you know, I'm a resident of St. Andrews and reside at 246 River Green. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening and for your consideration of my application. For quite some time, I have had a vision of creating an RV park in a strategic location, easily accessible to people from all walks of life in order to create quick and convenient getaway from the daily grind, so to speak. What we are proposing for the subject property is a low impact, high amenity RV park that fits into the rural landscape. This heavily treated property is geographically situated in proximity to all the desired amenities, which makes a destination like this attractive. It's in close proximity to several beaches, golf courses, restaurants, grocery stores, and even hospitals. Not only will this serve the local community, but because of its prime location, it will also attract people from neighboring municipalities, as well as nearby cities like Selkirk and Winnipeg. By doing so, it will encourage local tourism, spending, and will bolster and diversify the local economy. Our goal is to create a clean, well-maintained, family-oriented destination that offers a uniquely exclusive feel, which would be accomplished by the ample space around each and every site, as well as the natural tree cover. We have spoken to, as well as have seen commentary on local social media pages, that several community members who are excited at the prospect of having a safe, well-designed RV park that adds to the local recreation options. I truly believe that this project can be a point of pride for our municipality, while at the same time creating employment, revenues, and supporting local businesses in our community. You have that ready to go, Brayden?
I'm just going to share it to Zoom so people who want to support can.
Zoom is happy. All right. Good evening. Thank you for this time today to talk to you about this project. My name is Jackie Wilkie. I'm with McGowan Russell Group. We are working with Mr. Teixeira on the design of the RV park and the overall site development. If you can go to the next slide, please. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Very hard to hear.
Unfortunately, you have to speak up. That microphone, these microphones here are just for recording purposes for Zoom.
All right. I will do my best. The proposed RV park is located on Chalet Beach Road along the Lake Line Railroad, less than 3 kilometers from Chalet Beach and Matlock Beach in both the east and north directions, less than a 30-minute drive to Selkirk and Gimli. This is the next closest RV park is at Winnipeg Beach, so this will fill a need within the neighborhood or within the area. We can go to the next slide, please. The proposed conditional use for recreation commercial in the AAD zoning is to build the full 77-acre site to allow phased development over time, with the first phase being the 80 sites and recreation amenities that you see here. Next slide, please. The recreation amenities on the site include a picnic area, a pavilion for group use, bocce courts, sport court for both pickleball and basketball, as well as a potential for a spray park on the site as well, or playground. We want to go to the next one, please. The design of the site is based on the Winnipeg Beach Campground development, which our company has designed. Design worked with the existing forest to place sites on and one-way roads within the trees and provide additional cover with new plantings as needed. This same process would be planned for this development. Next slide, please. Each site is planned as a back-end seasonal site with an area of approximately 70 feet by 30 feet, with a buffer between the lots, each site of 20 to 30 feet of existing trees, and where existing trees are removed, being replaced. There'll be hookups for both power and water and holding tank for sewage water, or for wastewater. And the last slide. This seasonal RV park will fill a need in the community and has potential to expand in the future to include additional RV sites, potential in the future, 4-season rentals, winter recreation, and pet areas, all of which will need to come back to council for review and approval. Right now, we are looking for the first 80 sites on the site. Thank you.
Council members, do you have any questions of Ms. Wilkie?
Or Mr. Tishier.
This first phase, what is the seasonal operating times that you're considering?
The park will be it'll be a gated park that'll have whether it be code or
I think it's time of year.
Oh, time of year.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you meant like daily hours. Yeah, it would be from beginning of May until right around mid-October.
Will there be any permitted use of any type of recreation vehicles within?
No, there's no intent to have any type of recreational vehicles. I mean, you can like, are we talking like quads and stuff like that and dirt bikes? We're not going to create any tasks. I think that will they be able to bring them to site to drive them out? That it's a little bit far ahead in my planning stage, but it's not as if we're going to set up a track or anything like that within it. That's
and then my last question was in regards to the wells and holding tanks. Can you just elaborate more on that? Because number 7 in the conditional use indicated that each site would have an individual well. Is that the case?
No. These sites, and I'm familiar with them because I've been doing some research. For example, Oasis Park, they have probably 2 or 3 wells in the area. I know Jackie has been involved with some parks as well, where that's also been the case. So what your primary well basically would run lines just basically to pedestals where you have your power as well, and people just hook up. It's just like a hose bib, and people hook up and run it into their trailers. Very little water usage. You're talking, most of these RVs have 5 to 8 gallon or 10 gallon hot water tanks. So not a lot of people do a lot of showering when they're there for a couple of days. It's basically just to have some potable water in order to utilize and wash dishes and stuff like that.
There will also be a washroom building that will have its own, we likely have a well located in that location before you head off to the other, pipe out to the other.
And each individual RV will have a hookup and their own tank to pump it. And each one will be responsible for pumping that out. It'll be a holding tank.
Okay, so just to be clear, so there's going to be a couple wells that will feed the park.
Yes.
Not one general well, but 2 or 3. So not everyone's going to have to dig their own well for 86 units.
No.
86 spots. Okay.
No, correct.
But you're saying that each spot will have a septic tank. So
Yes.
I know that when we, Falcon Lake, West Hawk Lake, the campers take in their solids and their waste, and then they dump it into one holding tank, which gets pumped out and
Yes.
wherever it's going. So
Yes.
that's not what you're saying. So,
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm planning individual tanks just as a matter of convenience. Most of the recent ones that are being done do have that as an amenity.
Maybe I didn't notice this. Is there any provincial mandate or standards in regards to setbacks for water and holding tanks?
There is an amount for individual wells and holding tanks, yes. Number offhand, I don't recall. I want to say between.
Yeah, because these are not gonna be individual wells, it'll be a water line itself. It'll just be a standard separation that you would have coming into a residential site.
And of course, we would adhere to any setbacks that's required by conservation.
Okay. And I noticed that in this application, there was nothing that came back from Hydro or CPR or anything like that in regards to any concerns, especially with the tracks.
It's
We
not
don't have
CPR.
Does it see it?
It's that little lake we or.
Yeah, okay, so that's private.
I defer to the planner for comments received by Hydro and Lakeline.
Yeah, we've got super late today's comments from Hydro that they might require. And I sent it in my last version of the report.
And we can't hear.
Just a second, just nothing to hear yet. Just a second. Let me open that.
From what I saw in their package, they had potentially requested easements in the future, but at this stage,
Yeah.
they had no conditions, purely comments.
Yes, exactly. So they wrote us a comment, easements may be required for servicing. Our gas group is okay with the proposed location of the camp in relation to the existing pipeline. So no concerns from them.
If you remember, I think.
Yes, well, first of all, you're a St. Andrews resident. That's great. You're investing in our community, which is also a good thing. Just for clarification purposes, there are not going to be any septic tank or septic fields on the property.
No,
Okay.
no septic fields.
Okay. Normally, the holding tanks for these recreational parks are in the neighborhood of 500 gallons.
Correct.
So is that what you're looking at?
500 to 750 gallons, yeah.
Okay, so that
That would be the max.
would be the max. So, okay, so we're looking at getting those pumped out maybe once or twice a season.
Basically, based on usage, yeah, 1 to 2 times usually would be the maximum
Mhm.
in a season.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? Councilor Wondor?
So this is phase one. How many lots and how many phases do you propose that are you going to put on that property?
Well, that's all going to be dependent on how the first phase goes. I anticipate that it'll be well received. Now, the property is on 77 acres. In comparison, I know Oasis, for example, has 45 acres and they have 200 spots there. So if you extrapolate, this could easily sustain with bigger spots than your average throughout other facilities, and with bigger spacing, we could easily probably fit another 2 phases like this in there.
Another question was, with this holding tank, to me, it seems like this is going to be almost like a cottage development because we have cottage in Whitewall, and they come and pump our septic tank once a week. And it's a very, very small septic tank. And this is a 4-season cottage. We're talking about, to me, it seems like you're proposing basically a camper RV park that has access to a septic tank. So to me, as a common layman, I would think, well, that's basically you're going about this in a permanent manner. So these things are going to be permanent. These are not going to be for people that are going to come and camp in the vicinity and want to utilize the fishing or the camp in the beaches. These are going to be permanent, another form of cottages.
How so?
Because you're putting in permanent.
Well, no, everything would be an RV was on wheels, and in these seasonal camps, people come and go all the time.
Because you know what? We have, Winnipeg Beach there, they have those basically camps where people are setting up, decks and permanent structures. I hope we're not getting into that.
No, there's no intent to allow permanent structures there. I mean, are we going to allow somebody to have a deck that can be removed?
I don't know, that it's not written in any of the, any of the conditions. So
Sure.
I might like to add some of those into the conditions.
Yeah.
It's going to be no
And I
permanent
think that can be dealt with by way of a development agreement. Yeah.
Development
Yeah. I mean, and again, we have to be a little bit a little bit flexible when it comes to stuff like that, because people want to put a little deck outside. That's are we going to allow them to build an addition onto their RV? Absolutely not. Are we going to allow them to have a separate structure? Then no. I mean, we'd have to go, if we did something like that, we have to go for a building permit. So, I mean, that's not the intent of this. These people come and go on seasonal sites. They prepay at the beginning of the season. At the end of the season, when the season is done, they have a choice. They either sign up for another year or they leave and new people come in. There's turnover on these sites as well.
But you did indicate you're open mid-May to mid-October.
Beginning of
Not
May.
a year round.
No, it's not a year-round thing for
So,
sure.
yeah, okay. Go ahead, Councilor Carlos.
Will these units be removed? At the end of the season? Will these units, the campers?
No, a lot of people will leave them. Some people do remove them. It's not a requirement. Some people will remove them, some people won't.
But they would have to sign up for the next year.
So it's basically a permanent cottage.
Yeah.
People are gonna sign up, it's
Yeah.
just gonna be like a life lease. You're gonna
Well, there are
charge them or whatever.
there's no life lease options. It's a yearly thing. Again, there's turnover on these. I know several friends that have them throughout. This isn't a new concept. This is
I know it's not a new concept.
Yeah, these are all over the place. Through some of the older ones that exist, people have added structures and made these things permanent. That's fine. This isn't the intent of this. It's not good for it's not good for us as an owner to have these. There's got to be rules in place. So yeah, that's not the intent.
Councilor Markey.
No, I would just like to point out that I guess Grand Beach has a similar setup, and they're looking at I think well over 400 units on the property. So, and what we're looking at right now is relatively small.
Yeah.
There were some current concerns with some of the letters that came in regarding Chalet Beach Road and the amount of traffic and some of the weights that are on there itself. Is there anything that's going to happen? Like, how can the RM
I could speak to that, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I believe that's a different issue than this one, but there's definitely things going on Chalet Road Beach, and we have some properties adjacent to that road and to that beach that are having trespassers, and in the winter time, when we have our most problems, a lot of problems there, this location won't be open. But we definitely have an issue going on there that the RM has to get some solutions and be addressing, regardless whether this application goes through or not. We have to start addressing issues that are happening.
Oh,
I have one more question. Do you have a manager on site when you're open from?
Yes.
Yes,
We do plan to have an on-site manager to probably be there around the clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of we received 11 emails of opposition, plus we'll hear from the people here.
Mhm.
Parking is a big issue too.
Mhm.
You are gonna have a designated parking space within the gated?
Yeah, I mean, so parking, so now each of these spots is quite large. Most of the people in these places, what they do is they will park within the confines of their own lot or pad site. For those that do have a person to come visit or whatever, we will have ample parking.
We could put that in the development agreement.
Councillor Hunt?
So a couple of things. Thank you for your presentation. At the beginning of your presentation, you had land rezoning. This isn't a rezoning. This is a conditional use for the property, not a rezoning designation. So that was in your presentation. As far as the CEO's comment about Chalet Beach Road, for years there was always a problem with ice fishermen. I think we've done a fantastic job in getting the traffic off that road and down to Chalet Beach Road with signage and with education. We put bathrooms at Chalet Beach. We put garbage cans there. So it is a good site, and probably 300-400 vehicles a weekend go there in the wintertime. To me, seasonal camping is better than overnight camping. You have way more transient people coming in and out on a weekend and not caring about the area, whereas all three campgrounds in Petersfield have gone to seasonal campsite style campground. So you don't have that weekend camping. So that's worked really well for those three campgrounds in Petersfield. So, thank you.
Anybody have any other questions?
Question.
Go ahead.
Does anyone know about the Creek Golf? We have that seasonal site there. It's seasonal, not turned over, right? Maybe you.
It's seasonal.
It's seasonal?
Yeah, we approved the,
Okay.
yeah, seasonal.
I think they have 2 or 3 spots there that are weekend camping, but that's it. The rest are all seasonal. And Chesley's years ago had lots of problems with weekend camping, and they went to seasonal and then not any problems. And I have a place on the creek across from both the campgrounds in Petersfield.
Okay, council members, any other questions? The applicant? No, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have now a couple those in opposition. Ellen or Colleen Kowalchuk. Would you like to speak, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was wondering if by chance it would be possible to show that map at the beginning of our applicant's proposal, just to give concept of where my property is in relationship to that.
Valentino, could you?
For sure.
Could you bring that up, please?
That one?
No, the other one was an aerial photo, and the applicant's property was shaded in color.
That one?
That could suffice.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of council. Thank you for hearing my presentation in regards to the conditional use application. I am the owner of the adjacent property located immediately to the north of the subject property. I am fortunate to be a third generation owner of our land, which has been in our family for about 100 years. We share a property boundary of about a quarter mile in length with the subject property. The land that my family and I live on also has a large street area and a large open space, including marshland. My concerns are trespassing and property damage. In the past, we have observed that our property frequently experiences property damage and garbage left behind on our land for indiscriminate trespassing. People have illegally hunted without permission. They have caused or inflicted damage with the illegal use of quads or dirt bikes. The development of seasonal recreation facility for campers, camping trailers and RVs will only increase this type of activity, as it will bring in more people to an ecologically sensitive area. Without proper controls such as exclusion fencing or trespassing signage along with enforcement of our property owner rights, my family will be burdened with a greater cost and liability. It is unreasonable that the adjacent landowners should incur such expense in order to satisfy the wishes of others. Furthermore, another concern of ours is the increased risk of fires due to campfires, fireworks. In recent years, we have seen a lot more issues with forest fires, and our property is largely forested. Also, with a lot of the undergrowth and grass that exists there as natural habitat, any fire in that area would quickly consume the whole area, as well as our home property. It's also a detrimental effect on wildlife. This development will detrimentally affect the natural values of my property, which is home to a diverse population of wildlife and birds. The Nature Conservancy of Canada has studied my property in regards to the Manitoba Conservancy Acts Agreement. Nature Conservancy of Canada describes the Interlake Natural Area as meaning the area delineated by the NCC through conservation planning, and encompasses that area between Lake Winnipeg and Lake Manitoba, including the northernmost extent of the Paul Grass Prairie in North America. Of concern are the natural ecosystems and their counterparts, wildlife or fishery habitat, or plant and animal species, of which my property is abundant with. We have had beavers and bald eagles, as well as a lot of other wildlife that either lives in the area or passes through it, including deer and bear and numerous bird species, including ones that are at risk. In closing, this is a development for the simple sake of profit, and we can make no doubt about that. It is reasonable for the applicant who may want to find a method to generate revenue through this property. However, it should not be borne on the backs of others. There are increased liabilities and risks. The RM of St. Andrews will benefit with an increase of development and permit fees and the continuing increase in tax revenues. Therefore, our local government has a vested stake in seeing the benefit of this development, and so it becomes incumbent upon us, the citizens and ratepayers, to hold our elected officials accountable to those that they were elected to serve, not simply the success of any business venture, as it may or may not benefit our municipality. We all live in a community, be it rural or urban. We must be responsible to ourselves and our neighbors. Therefore, I must urge council to fully weigh the choice of their decision, and I register my petition that this development be denied. Should council see otherwise, then I formally request that the development restrictions or requirements be added to the agreement to protect my adjacent property from trespassing of others and also of damage. By the addition of a condition that the developer construct a suitable fence to contain all the recreational activities within their property and to save mine for any other risks as expressed in my presentation. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Councillor Stunton?
I'm not very good with math. So property is the one with the red arrow in it. What are you on this side of it?
I am to the top of that, and I have an equally sized property. We have about 76 acres. So you just see a portion of that property.
Which one here?
One, yes, right at the top there, the green and grassed area.
That one there?
Right there.
That one?
Okay. So what is that across the road from you currently?
There is a railway line, and then there is a development of cottages.
That are already there. Those cottages, if I'm not mistaken, have been there for years. Am I not correct?
No, they're not. They are a recent development within the last couple of years.
Okay.
And with the amount of additional people being brought into the area would just increase the amount of trespassing potential that we have already experienced. And my greatest concern is fire, of course, because there is a large area that is grassed.
So your property is across from that development. How many homes are currently on that development? Because it is within the last couple of years, I remember, or 3 years maybe. How many houses are constructed there now?
I would guess the proximity that there is.
There's about 7. Thank you. Any further questions, Council? Thank you. Margaret Davidson, did you wish to speak?
No,
You're just, okay.
I'm just complaining because it's hard to hear. Sorry. And we have a speaker back here that feels sounds like bees. So that on top of it. I'm sorry.
No, thanks for letting us know. I know that the sound in here is not good.
Yeah, no, it's hard to hear.
Michael Hape,
Here.
did you wish to speak to this?
Yep, I'll ask a question. So at the beginning of this meeting.
Could you come to the microphone because we're on Zoom? You're in opposition or you're just saying?
I just have a question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is, at the beginning of this meeting, you did a land acknowledgement and you recognized that the municipality of St. Andrews is on Treaty 1 land. I'd like to know what consultation has occurred between council or the developer with the First Nations treaties that have treaty over the land. That's my question.
Okay, thank you. Louise Buelow Smith.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak regarding this conditional use application. I am a member of the community of Donator. I've had the opportunity to experience the lake in many ways my entire life. And this particular conditional use application has caused me actually a lot of thought and concern. So I'm not bringing these points frivolously. They've come with careful consideration. I'd like to focus on 3 terms and a couple of sentences related to those 3 terms that are in the proposal and in the points of consideration for council. Those 3 terms are accessibility, capacity, and stewardship/sustainability. So first off, with accessibility, the proposal includes the statement proximity to and easy access to water and beaches, not in the RM of St. Andrews. There is not a public access beach to the lake, nor is there a boat launch available to this area. All these types of facilities, you have to look north. Within the village of Donator, there are only 2 parking access beaches. These folks are a distance away on a gravel road. You can get there by bike. Sometimes riding those roads is like riding on buckshot, but I would expect that the people using this park would be using cars, and they will need to access car accessible beaches. The 2 in the village, one at Milne and one at Tugela Creek, are heavily utilized, and there's a rate limiting factor here. We can make that parking lot extend from White Wolf Road to Matlock Road, all along the rail line, but the beach is the beach is the beach. And we are increasing by 1/10 between the new subdivision and this RV park, the population, and actually the square kilometerage of the village being directly adjacent to this particular proposal. So we are currently at 2.8 square kilometers and 77 acres. Thank you, Google. Goes to 0.3116, and that actually is 11% of the size of the village is with this RV park. And looking at some 2021 data for the census, where the average family is now 2.9 individuals. Between the subdivision, which we have yet to see the impact, and there's quite a few homes already being built, some are just being moved in right now. There's 43 lots, so we have to consider all of those being occupied, that the population hit to this area would be 374.1. Now that is about a 10% again hit to the population, all at once. And there's no change to the infrastructure, and there's no change to the size of the beach. And there still is, despite a 2005 development plan for the village, no boat launch. So this idea of proximity and easy access, I feel as a member of that community, knowing that you have to go north to access, that it has direct impact. And that actually ties into some considerations for council here. So it is a bit of, I think, a mirage when you look down Chalet Beach Road and you see the empty field and you see the lake and you see a beach. Those are not public accessible spaces. Now, this ties into my next word, which is capacity. We really don't have a good understanding of what our capacity is for this type of activity. The village of Donator has been around for over 100 years in different levels of development, and the intensity of the usage of the space is just climbing astronomically. Lots are being subdivided, more properties are being created, the beach size is the beach size. So we can go forward to Winnipeg Beach, to Gimli, and so on and so forth, but there is a limit to what any of these locations can tolerate. And lastly, around stewardship and sustainability. This is the one that's caused me the most concern and thought, in that I have had a lifetime of privilege of having access to this area. And when it was developed, it looked quite a bit like what this current acreage does, except a little more riparian because of its direct access or contact with the lake. And why wouldn't more people want a piece of this? And how can we make that happen? But that development was done without inclusion, without equity, and really with no consideration at all of what the impact would be on the environment. And we have all of that now to consider. That wasn't available to the people who started off in changing the environment here in this lakeshore community. It is 77 acres of contiguous forest. Once you start cutting into it, you change it. Trees being present between lots is one thing, but their value here is contiguous forest. And also the understory in the mention of fire, the understory in terms of shrubbery and grasses, just so people know, is tick country. So if you're going to go in and make an RV park, you are going to be clearing out that understory, and you are going to be changing that forest even more than what the actual potential cuts to make the pads spout. So I would just finish by saying that I think that wisdom is a time-sensitive commodity, and we're being asked to look at this rather quickly without having a great understanding of what all the impacts are, water and sewage and other things notwithstanding. And I would ask council for your careful consideration of the presentations brought to you. Thank you.
Just a moment, please. You have a question? Okay.
I'm a little bit confused. Are you here speaking on behalf of Donato Council, or like?
No, just me.
This park is in St. Andrews.
That's correct. And it's directly adjacent to the village of Donato, where the amenities of beaches, and actually Winnipeg Beach would be the closest amenity for a boat launch.
Correct. I'm well aware where it is. I
Yeah.
go to Winnipeg Beach. I get all that.
Yeah.
But I'm just a little bit confused how you're trying to make issues of in the village of Donato the issue of the recreational trailer park in St. Andrews. That's why I'm a little bit lost.
Okay. Well, the RM of St. Andrews and village of Donato are pretty like this, or touching, or maybe some days like this. So when a development happens, which could happen in the village as well, there can be impacts for adjacent communities. And I see, as a member of that community, definite impacts because of the requirement or the desire to have access to the lake. And the access to the lake points start north of where this campground is. And that north first stop is the village. And then, as I've said, successively, Winnipeg Beach, and so on, Sandy Hook, and so on.
No, I'm all aware of how it all lays out. I get all that. I just, like I say, I just don't really understand where you're going, but that's okay. Thank you for your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Laurel Howard.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words in opposition to this proposition. I am a lifelong cottager in the village of Donato, which is, as we've just discussed, adjacent to this area. and now a permanent resident. I'm also a member of Donator Birdwatch, and I would like to support the statement that this is a vast forested area that we're speaking about. And its decimation has a profound effect on our migratory corridor. You will be aware, I'm sure, that this is an important migratory corridor. And it's actually an area partially protected by the International Migratory Convention. We have species at risk in these forests, and those 77 acres are not unimportant. They form an important part of our wildlife habitat. We are still adjusting to the loss of the habitat at Everwood, just adjacent to there, which is now under development. So this is a double hit in a very short time for our wildlife and our birds. And I think we have to consider the overall environmental impact of this development. And while I can certainly see the economic benefit, I think we have to balance that against a very, very real impact on the wildlife habitat and also on the lake, as has been brought up. We have a history on Warner Road, and I don't know whether Warner Road is Donator or St. Andrews as I stand here, but I know that we have a history of a lack of care on that beach, overuse by ATVs, a destruction of the ecosystem. It's very fragile, and I'm not sure that there are safeguards in place here to protect the increase of traffic on that very, very important area of beach. I just think we have to respect the lake. We have to respect the environment. I'd also like to just mention in passing that I know on social media there has been a petition circulated, and I don't know that it's been mentioned. I don't think it's on the agenda, but when I checked it earlier today, there were 270 names against this particular project. It was started by Lori Deer in the village. So thank you for your time. I do ask that you consider this, the environmental impact of this, and I thank you for your regard.
Thank you. Where did you see this petition?
It was on Facebook. It was started by Lori Deer, 270 names as of this afternoon.
Nothing's been filed in the office. We have nothing filed, nobody filed anything.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Dave Menard.
Hello. Been a property owner on Chalet Beach for 26 years now. But every year seems to be more and more encroaching onto our environment. There's new subdivision basically off Warner Road. There's this that they want to put in now, which is just a starting point for them, apparently. They want to add more infrastructure or whatever to that now. As it is right now, in the summertime, the beach has so much traffic that it comes down to our end of the beach from Warner Road to Chalet Beach. And we're actually kicking people off the property. There's no infrastructure as far as any of your enforcement, to any of your ordinances. Nobody's patrolling the beach. Nobody's checking to see if there's traffic on the beach, if there's vehicles on the beach. Nobody does anything about that. I haven't seen anybody down there in the last 2 or 3 years doing any enforcement on any of this. Where are these people going to go? That's one spot. That's the only spot basically on the lake where people from that area or that division are going to come. There's no room for this. They haven't addressed anything about off-road vehicles in their park, whether they're going to allow them to be there and set out from there. The increased traffic on Chalet Beach is going to be ridiculous again.
If I mean, just for clarification, you're saying there's no enforcement, but isn't it all private beaches? It's all
Valley
private.
Beach from Warner Road back to the east, whatever, there is nothing there. It's a strip of about a quarter-mile beach. And then it turns from whatever, everybody's use to private use. And when you tell people that it's private property, they look at you like you're retarded and say that, oh no, it's the beach. Because we come from Winnipeg, we know everything about this area.
I know, I've been dealt with over the years, a number of complaints with trespassing on private property.
Definitely. And just the increase in traffic and everything from there. I bought a place in the middle of nowhere 25 years, 26 years ago, and now it gets busier and busier every year.
Councilor Slaker, you had your hand up?
You went after the one lady said there was no beach at all there, with my understanding, and now this gentleman is saying
She said
there's a little bit of a beach.
She said there's no park and there's nothing there. What do people have to do if they build this park? What's there in the park to keep them there and entertained? Thank you.
Thank you.
Charisse Deer?
Hello, everyone. Very much for letting me speak today. My husband is the one that started the petition. And I'd like to take a minute to just read this petition, if that's okay. We started this petition on Thursday, I believe. Currently 275 signatures with change.org, and I understand that may not be acceptable here because it's not witnessed and verified by myself or my husband. But according to change.org, they say it is official. Regardless, I would like to just read it out. On behalf of myself and my husband, we are proud owners of beach property near Matlock, and I am deeply concerned. We are on Chalet Beach Road by this proposed rezoning that allows for the development of a campground. This area is cherished by locals for its tranquil beauty and natural surroundings. It's home to a diverse array of wildlife, including bearded rabbits, raccoons, bear, coyote, and birds, as mentioned here. The proposed campground would disrupt that vibrant ecosystem, forcing these animals out of their habitats, potentially leading to a decline in their populations in this area. Beyond the environmental concerns, the development brings with it the promise of increased traffic and noise, which we've already talked about today. All-terrain vehicles and a steady stream of camping visitors would mar this peacefulness that the residents have long cherished. As mentioned earlier, the issues with all-terrain vehicles on Warner Road, on that strip of beach, and all around Gimli Road, Chalet Beach Road into Matlock have been a huge issue for years, and this will, we feel like, will increase. And there isn't any bylaw or anyone that is enforcing that and stopping it. Our neighborhood, sanctuary for both humans and animals, would see a rise in trespassing, not only threatening our safety, but also invading our privacy, as mentioned by former people that have spoken here tonight. We are told that the wedding venue, Kinloch Grove on Chalet Beach Road, just got broken into the other day. We've had lots of trespassing just tonight. I pulled into my house on Chalet Beach Road, and my vehicle door was open and rifled through. So I just can't imagine that that will not increase. The integrity of our community and the preservation of local wildlife is at stake. We urge the municipal authorities of St. Andrews to reconsider this proposal and keep Chalet Beach Road a haven for the biodiversity that thrives there. By doing so, we uphold our commitment to protecting the environment and ensuring that future generations can enjoy the natural beauty that we have come to love. And then I have a couple of comments of folks that have signed the petition that said, Robin Kelsley said, we already saw what happened during COVID. With non-tax paying visitors, the village couldn't handle the garbage and the waste removal. I do not want wildlife to be displaced and at risk. I love this quite peaceful, beautiful place, and fear of the proposal will certainly compromise our beloved community. Janet stated the village of Dunnottar may finally have to introduce a parking pass system because the the beaches, will increase for the parking, and there's going to be issues with garbage and recycling and removal and maintenance. And then Danny indicated, I believe that the public spaces like beaches and garbage are already overwhelmed with this current population, as someone mentioned, and more potential residents in the neighboring RM will not help fix this problem.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
So I just wanted to add that Warner Road is currently, it is owned by the RM of St. Andrews, within the RM of St. Andrews, and it is not being kept up. The garbage already there is increasing every year, as one of the neighbors had mentioned. The off-road vehicles, people are camping down there, driving up and down the beach, partying, leaving garbage. We are constantly going on the beach and cleaning up. Parties of us are doing that just about every weekend after a weekend. A few years ago, the RM did put a sign up that said no off-road vehicles and no overnight camping. Somebody came and knocked it down because they didn't like that, and it's back again. Bylaw went out there a couple of times a few years ago and ticketed some folks for their off-road vehicles. That isn't happening anymore. We haven't seen it for 3 years, and it's increasingly going to get worse. So what one of the neighbors had mentioned is that where this proposed RV park will be, the closest public beach would be off of Warner Road, where nobody lives on Warner Road, but the road is very small, with agricultural land on one side and private property on the other. There's nowhere to build a parking lot. There's nowhere to put public bathrooms. There's nowhere for people to park. So how are the people in the RV park going to get to that beach, if not by all-terrain vehicle or a golf cart? There's no other way to get there. It's far too long to walk. So where are they going to park? Where are they going to put their garbage? It's already a problem now.
See, I know in the winter time, we pay, all taxpayers pay in St. Andrews, we put in porta potties there for the excursion.
There's nothing in the summer.
And the garbage cans are always full.
It's quite terrible in the summer. And no boat launch, that's another problem.
And I seem to remember a few years ago, big signs were put up.
And
just
right down.
Whoever was, they didn't even stamp a date.
And the dog issue as well. It's not a dog beach. There's a dog beach in Winnipeg Beach. So there's a lot of people that come on Warner Road because it is kind of quieter and let their dogs run. That also poses a problem too, because if it's not a dog beach, who's cleaning up their waste? And how many dogs are going to be down there along with the people that are camping on the beach? I've seen people camp on the beach with trailers and trucks for days at a time.
You never hear about that.
These are, I get what you're saying, but I would strongly suggest that you start either committing service trackers for all of this stuff so we can start tracking it and move on it. And if you don't like doing that, then please give me a call and I'll be glad to commit it for you. Because without a paper trail, it's the same thing as everything in life, right? No paper trails. You and I can stand here and say everything in the world is terrible, but we
have tried to call the bylaw several times, and we've also spoken to our councillor Lori Hunt about it, but I think there are issues with bylaw, giving out tickets or something, or putting up signs. We're not really sure, and I think the residents are just tired. They're just tired of it, of not getting action done.
Great, well, like I said, I'm all about the bylaws and having them enforced, so please.
But like, is there a dedicated bylaw that could like ticket someone and like tow them? Because we've tried and nothing's happened, so I'm confused.
We have a bylaw that does that, so
Yeah.
we just need,
What are they?
we just need people to,
Oh goodness, we've called a lot. How many times have you guys called?
But calling is not the same as putting in the service tracker. Again, it's unfortunate and a pain in the butt, but you must go through the paper world. But I appreciate all that. Yeah. Yes, feel free to do that with me whenever you like.
Well, see, the council for your ward is Councillor Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So you can give him.
Oh, he's well aware of the issues. We've talked to him. Lots of us have talked to him about that. He's helped us quite a lot through the winter because of the issues that were happening there with the ice fishermen. And that, as he mentioned earlier, has been kindly diverted off of Chalet Beach Road, where there are children and people living and pets, to Warner Road where no one lives, which is perfect. And you can create a parking lot on the ice, but you can't in the summer. There is just nowhere to go.
Councillor Hunt, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, so the issue with parking, we've always, we have a bylaw number, but then we can't take them to court, whatever, because they're not going to pay whatever, something with summons and that kind of stuff. So maybe hopefully something will change now with our new bylaw provider. We can do better with that and tow somebody and ticket them and then have the teeth in order to follow through with a ticket or tow them. And I just like to make a comment, it's all good comments by everybody about using the beach and that, but not everybody that goes out in an RV needs to go to the water and needs to go fishing. They just want to get out of the city and just camp. And like I say, I talk about the golf course campground. I don't think anybody there goes to the beach, and not very many people golf neither. They go there just to get out of the city and have an RV site. So, but all good comments, and some of the stuff that was in the conditions several times, it says owner is responsible for implementing internal controls to prevent and address a lot of these concerns that people are talking about. So thank you.
This RV park sounds a lot like Lilac. Does anybody know Lilac? Right? So it's seasonal lots that people stay there for decades. And they do put add-ons and decks, and they do add-on structures. I've stayed there.
At this point, we're just dealing with,
Well, what we've heard here is we're not sure. We have to be flexible. Those are the words that I've heard, which I feel is a slippery slope. Yeah.
Councillor Sliker?
I go to Lilac a lot. I got a few friends in there. And yes, those are old, that's an old campground that has a way more lackadaisical ruling than.
Well, because it's private,
a
private campground can do what they like.
Not if this developer enters into a development agreement with the RF. And that's where we put in the parts of, no additional structures. Yeah, and the one, you wanna put a little deck that you can pick up and put in the back of the truck when you leave, that's fine. I think everybody that was camping for a season would like that instead of sitting in the dirt. But you can't, as the developer has said, you can't put an add-on, and I've seen that, I'm sure, as you have at Lilac.
Mm-hmm.
There are places out there that are trying to sell for 150, 200 grand, and you don't own the land.
Yeah.
So.
And they get it.
No.
And the amount that people pay for those sites is.
That's not my.
$3,000 a year that is going into someone's pocket.
No, they pay about.
That's not what before.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brenda Norman?
Hello. We are new to Chalet Beach Road. However, we have had vandalism and theft from our property twice prior to putting up a gate. And the bigger issue is the removal of the forest. However, and that has already been spoken about, so I don't want to reiterate the same concerns. My concern would be the portion of the road between Highway 9 and the railway tracks, which would encompass the entrance to that RV park. When it rains, that road is almost next to impassable. So there would definitely need to be some improvements done to that road for those of us that need to use that road to get to our properties.
Council members, do you have any questions? No. Okay, thank you. Nora Norman?
I spoke for him.
Thank you. Carol Arlene Miller?
Speak for the wife. We live from number 9 highway, half a mile east, our property goes. It's 40 acres of bush on the south side of Chalet Beach Road. Now, numerous times people go in there and grab trees, bring them out, cut them beside the edge of the road, leave all the branches. Sometimes, a couple of years ago, they dumped some leaves, started a fire. Good thing a neighbor friend of mine come along, put a shovel, beat it out, because it would have destroyed our bush and our property and all the buildings I have there. So, just increasing that RV presence, people are gonna wanna have campfires in their little burning plots. And they're gonna go grab the first piece of free tree they can see. Now, in that process, they could be smoking a cigarette, drop it, there goes the whole forest. The only way I could approve of something like that if the applicant made a fence along two sides of the bush, 6 strands of barbed wire high, 6 feet high. Because I've tried putting signs, no trespassing, no hunting, no everything. People just ignore the signs and they rip them down, shoot them up. And we've been there a long time. I've had a lot of experience with bad people especially since fishermen started using them. They come and they want firewood for the lake. And then in the summertime now, we're getting a lot more beachgoers going into Warner Road. And they want to build a campfire on the beach. So they're grabbing wood along the way. So that's my story.
Okay, thank you. Do council members have any questions? Comment?
Just a question, from looking at your place here, you've got I'm thinking this is your place. You've got an entrance off of Highway 9 and off of the Chalet Beach Road.
Yeah.
And could I get your first name for the record? It's under your wife's name on
Wayne.
Wayne. Thank you. Any further questions, council? No, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sean Hobson.
Thank you, Madam Chair and councilors. I'm speaking for myself and my husband, Doug. We bought property on Chalet Beach Road 6 years ago, so we're fairly new. But our property is located at 437, which is adjacent to the public beach access. And so our concern is that we are actually the closest beach to this proposed RV center, which was the first phase. There's the paperwork we had prior to this meeting said about 86 RV units could be there, and this could increase to about 200 if all phases are approved. With just 86 RV units, that could pose 200 plus people at any given time wanting to use the area, to drive to the area, to leave the area, to go to the beaches. We, as say, are the closest beach. We're only about 1.5 miles from where this RV unit would be. The Chalet Beach access road, or public access to the lake, which I know we do not have, or we're not supposed to have parking along Chalet Beach or close to the beach, but people do it. There is no parking signs up, but people still will park there. And from our personal experience, I'm just going to read from here, these no parking signs are currently not adhered to by individuals. We witness parking in the area. We have personally experienced difficulty accessing our own property in our vehicle due to the number of vehicles parked in the area. There is a lack, and I'm speaking just specifically of Chalet Beach Road, not of Warner Road, and Chalet Beach access. There is no washrooms or change rooms located at that public access area. There is also no garbage or recycling disposal units located at that area. So my husband, when we're out there in the summer, will walk the dog every morning and he cleans up the garbage he finds on the beach. There is a potential for increased trespassing on our property. Since we've acquired our property, we have witnessed individuals that come to use the public beach and they expand outside of the public area and onto our property. Most of these individuals are accommodating when we inform them that they are on private property. We've had pushback from a couple. Also, I'm not sure if council is aware of this, but my husband was out in September at a time when Stars Ambulance, apparently their computer will spit out an address, and it's a practice run for them to go to that address, find out how long it takes, and whether there's any difficulty getting to it. That day my husband was out, it spit out our address, our beach address. While they were out there, they measured that large turnaround area, which is really right at the end of our driveway. And it is just big enough for them to land a helicopter. If there's anybody parking there, a helicopter would not be able to land. So I'm not sure if you're aware that Stars did this and that they measured that turnaround. And I won't reiterate the other things that are already said. I do agree a lot with what's been said.
Thank you. Okay. Council members, do you have any questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Brett Fredrickson?
I just wanted to bring up a couple points about it. I live on 9829 number 9 highway. One thing, the road traffic for sure is going to be big impact down there. Right now in the winter time, we have the ice fishermen, you have increased traffic then, but now in the summertime, kind of going to have to amp up our game a little bit for keeping the road maintained down there, because they're going to be punching it out. You're going to have a lot of traffic coming down there during the summer months. I don't know if they want to do dust control or what their plan is there, but you have to come up with something. Also, I have a farming operation right adjacent to the property. So I'm running grain fans, tractors down, up and down the road all hours of the night sometimes. Sorry.
No, you're speaking of Chalet Beach Road as the farm, or?
Yeah, I have the property right next to, adjacent to the property you're proposing the campground on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The next property to the west.
directly to the west of them, yeah. And just like Wayne was saying there too, I mean, I have the same problems with people coming in, cutting wood, trespassing, everything like that. Obviously, that's going to be increased. I would like to see, if it's going to be forced through some kind of fencing or a buffer between the properties there. Yeah, sorry, I'm just nervous not to public speaker.
That's okay. Don't be nervous.
But yeah, anyway, for the farming operations and that, we already struggle with the traffic down there. We're running, there's me and 4 other producers. We're running equipment down that road all the time. We already have a lot of trouble with, captors and everything like that coming out. Now you increase it, you're going to have people coming out all, weekdays, weekends, up and down the road. So there's that too. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay,
All right,
council members, do you have any questions? Okay, thank you. Kowalchuk?
Good evening. Thanks for letting me speak. My property's in St. Andrews, but I consider it part of Matlock, just where it's located. So I guess it would be north of Warner. So some things I think that have been talked, but also should be considered here are the environmental effects, not only on the lake, but on the neighboring property owners and loss of forest. I don't know if there's been any discussion with the Lake Winnipeg Foundation and how they feel about adding up to close to maybe 300 units so close to the lake. And I was wondering if there's any environmental study required for this development for its impact on the community. Also, like you to consider the encroachment on neighboring areas. People live in the surrounding areas for solitude, and the communities are considered hamlets, not urban sprawl. Fully developed, this development could have up to 300 units. Concerns of traffic, including quads, ATVs, driving out of the RV park into neighboring communities. There's no enforcement to regulate this. As mentioned earlier, 270 people have signed an online petition against development, and that should be recognized as well. It is okay to have the developer police while the individuals are on the site, but they can't police once individuals are off-site. They are not residing in the RV park not to access the water, being so close to the water. We just heard the lack of bylaw enforcement on Warner, and that extends into the village of Donauder. While the area falls within St. Andrews, the development will impact the immediate neighbors and also the village of Donauder. Measured growth is part of every RM's responsibility, but a multi-phase RV development does not meet the ethos of this area. This council should recognize its responsibility to the overall area and the negative impact of a large multi-phase development will have on Chalet Beach and north to the village of Donauder. One thing I think the council should also recognize is you hear all the people living on Chalet Beach, what they do to keep the area clean on a daily basis. This will obviously augment that to multitude times. And the fact that I don't think there's a plan in place to combat that is very, very disconcerting. So I oppose this development. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions? Mr. Shanks? Okay, thank you. Jerry Reardon. Sorry, I can't read the last.
Didn't need to say anything, I just was here to listen.
Oh, okay. So you're here for information. Alexandria Mark Nadelic. Would you like to come forward and speak?
Good evening. I didn't prepare anything this evening, but I'm also from Donauder in the Matlock area. And as I listened to the conversations here, I started to think of what are the benefits to myself and my family in our residential neighborhood. That's, like I say, it's very peaceful, great place to retire. What's the benefit to me, if anything, of this development? Because as it exists now, some people on my road have been there for 70 years, 40 years, 38 years, 25 years. And in our little part of Matlock, the traffic there's a small beach access. The traffic is way, way worse than it was. It's getting worse. People driving down the lanes, dust storms. There's a small grassy area that's full of cars in the summer. So it's not improving as it is. It has the issues getting worse. And with another 1,000 people potentially, if we go with the 3-stage of the whole development of the RV park, the spillover from, again, people will want to go use Donauder. It's a different area tax-wise as well. So it occurred to me that people from the RV park come and will be paying our taxes in Donauder to have the cleanup after the use of the facilities and so on and so forth. Also mentioned in their presentation how it's going to help local businesses. Like there's a store and 2 restaurants, as far as I know, in Donauder. So I don't really see a great benefit for them. Again, there's less benefit for the existing long-term residents. Just another thought was, we have roughly the 300 people signing a petition, or us in roughly 300 people. So when we have 88 people and their families, maybe 300 people in this RV park, and I'm thinking our voices should, with 300 voices opposed to this, why our voices should be equally as heard as the people who are also going to spill over into our little piece of paradise. So I think our voices are equally as important. And I just, there's a quote on the attached document to the proposal about options for council's consideration. And I just read something. It says, Council may reject the application or approve the application if the conditional use proposed by the application will not be detrimental to the health or general welfare of people living or working in the surrounding area, or negatively affect other properties or provincial development in the surrounding area. We are in the surrounding area and we don't see a positive aspect to this, to our quality of life.
Thank you for comment. Council, do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for administration, I guess. Did we receive any comments from the Village of Denauder Council in order for this application?
No, we did not.
Okay, thank you.
There is a letter from a councillor I noticed on the agenda.
We looked at that. Yes, that's personal. It's not from the council itself. The other, like the mayor and council did not say anything. I have two gentlemen.
Well, I have one comment. I understand.
Yeah, wait, we're in a public hearing. There's two gentlemen in the back corner. You came in late. And there's a sheet that you have to sign where it's a public hearing. Were you wanting to speak to this application? Or are you just here for information?
I happen to have property both at Denauder and I live on Gilly Road at Road 92.
Okay, did you want to come to the microphone?
Can I make a comment about the Matlock, Village of Denauder?
And what is your name, sir?
My name is Jack Kovnats.
Jack?
Kovnats, Kovnats.
Kovnats. And your address?
2080 Gimli Trail.
Okay, thank you. So go ahead, please.
Starting with Kinloch Road when it first came there, that's the first summer I saw 3 cars in the ditch on a Sunday morning. I realize, while this is the backwoods, people are welcome there and it is the country. But you drop in another 100 odd people on a weekend and it's just going to exponentially change the traffic flow. Thank you very much. I never understood why the stop sign moved from Chalet Beach Road to Janish Road. Now I understand why you did that for the safety. Okay, I was ignorant. I apologize. The bottom line is you can address some of this in the conditional use agreement. You can in fact address all of it in the conditional use agreement. But if you open the door, you have to make the decision again and again and again. Look at the number of people in this room, people in the petition. I think other than the person who's requesting it, I don't think I've heard one person talk about it being a positive move forward. So while I respect the developer, lives in St. Andrews, River Road in the south ain't the bush in the back. And the RM is going to have a problem over time by the diversity of the traditional agricultural nature and the encroaching suburban nature. And both groups of people are going to have to figure a way to get along. And I want to thank the gentleman who talked about the adjacent neighborhood, because while the St. Andrews Council have responsibility to the St. Andrews people, there are other people too. Thank you.
Could I just, you're Gimli Trail, you're in Denauder?
No.
Or St. Andrews?
No. Gimli Trail is the old Gimli Road. Gimli Road, Provincial Road 232, actually starts at Matlock Road. As you go to...
No, that's fine. So your address, you're in Matlock. That's
no, my address is 2080 Gimli Trail, Petersfield, Manitoba.
Petersfield. Okay, that's what I need for the record.
I just happen to own property in both locations. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Tixier, did you want to address some of the comments made?
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the comments and the concerns. I'd just like to speak to a few of them. There was concerns about, again,
I think with having on-site management and is going to go a long way to probably lessening any chance of anything going around in the community. So I'd have to take issue with that. As a landowner, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, the trees within the property, if I so choose for another use, I could eliminate the trees completely in their entirety. So that's my understanding. So having that as a starting point, we've reached out before I even purchased the property. We reached out to Jackie. I reached out to a couple of, I took an arborist there. We took a look at the condition because the very value of that for us is to maintain as many trees as possible. And that's quite easily done because the roadways required in there aren't very wide. Okay, so this can be done in a way where, and will be done in a way because the tree cover is what the value is for that. People want privacy, they want tree canopy for shade, they want to be able to enjoy nature as well. I understand, people don't want change. However, this, I almost feel like it's a little bit of short-sightedness because people who live in the area and live in Den Otter and in those areas, firstly, they have to realize that they ended up there because the development somewhere along the way did pave the road for them, so to say. There was development done, there were trees cleared, there was recreation facilities put in place. And they are now there because of that. I think it's a bit unfair for them to stand here and eliminate any further generations coming in and partaking in the land which belongs to everyone and to enjoy it. And creating this facility, that's where we're allowing more people to do in a responsible manner. I've heard everything from, it being impassable, the road being impassable. I've been up and down that road in this last year in all types of weathers, whether it be spring thaw, when we had the rain just a few weeks ago, I was actually putting up the conditional use sign when it was pouring rain. I see absolutely no concern with the roadway, and to say that has been rendered impassable was incorrect. I'd also like to point out, and I'm sure council is already aware of this, to caution to listen to the people that are here today making the comments, but these 270 phantom petition signatures is hearsay as far as I'm concerned. We haven't received any notice of these, and I just wanted to make a point that they, as far as I'm concerned, I know nothing about. Reviewing my notes 1 second. There's also a comment that I have to take issue with, that people that go here, there is nothing to do on the land. I think we demonstrated that with the splash park, with the pickleball courts and the basketball courts, we're creating an area in order to keep people in there. This is an area for people to go enjoy the forest, enjoy the picnic area. There's a common picnic area. There's a screened-in pavilion that'll go there. There are pickleball courts, basketball courts, fenced dog run. This is meant to keep people onto the site. Now, those that don't want and do want access to water, they have many options. You were a 5 to 7 minute drive away from Winnipeg Beach. You're 15 to 20 minutes away from Gimli. There's other beaches all the way along there. So to say that this is going to be put a load on Den Otter and the one at the end of Chalet Beach Road, I think is simply incorrect. And again, in closing, I just wanted to thank council for the opportunity. I think that this area is, because of this proximity to all amenities, there's golf in the area, there's beaches in the area, there's restaurants in the area. Everything is very close to each other. It affords people in the local community, in Dunnottar, in Winnipeg and Selkirk, to be able to make a short commute, to be able to enjoy a facility like this, spend time with their family. I know that a lot of these facilities are booked and they're difficult to get into. I think this just increases the quality of life. There's an economic benefit for the RM and for all its residents and for the local economy. And I thank you very much for listening to my application.
Thank you. I have one question. It's been brought up about fencing. Yeah.
Pardon me, sorry?
Okay, is there gonna be fencing all around, or can you leave the trees as a buffer?
Yeah, with the dense trees that you have there, I think that fencing really is a moot point. Having fencing with barbed wire, we're not creating a jail there. This is an open, natural area for feel. There's dense woods all the way along. So I don't think I should say that. There will be a controlled gate, obviously, to where your access point was from the approach in order to control people going in and out. However, outside that, there is no plant fencing.
And you're trying to save as many trees as possible.
Absolutely, and if we do put it,
you're gonna have trees around the property.
Well, if you look back at the image, that basically it's this property is a rectangle, and it's basically, with the exception of one little dip where the neighboring property pulls in, it's very heavily treed right throughout. So when we go in and make our roads, you know, I've already spoken to Jackie and said, look, we're going to go into the areas that are more sparse, that have trees that are more toward the end of their life cycle, and we've talked about replanting and adding to this. So to say that I'm going to eliminate a forest, that's completely false. And you know, once again, this whole value and the reason I've waited so long to purchase a property is that it's rare that you find something with this amount of trees, and that for me is the value and the experience for the recreation park and birds.
How do you plan to address fire pit use and regulations with that? There'll be standard safety considerations.
Of course, that'll all be written into the rules and regulations of the park. A lot of these parks have that all in there. It'll have to be enclosed within the facility. We may look at actually providing fire pits for each of the spots, which will be already pre-placed, and we'll have. I mean, it's obviously consideration for us. Obviously, again, the whole value in the property for us is in the trees and the tree cover, and we would be doing everything in our power to protect that.
And in terms of off-road vehicle use, I would be I'm thinking about the conditions that were listed there in terms of, you know, no off-road vehicle use be permitted within, or leave the area with use of an off-road vehicle.
Fair enough.
Councilor Dornbos?
Yeah, I agree with Councilor Feed before on that. Off-road vehicles, and I have an off-road vehicle person. That would be a big.
And I don't have one myself, so I have no love for them, and I think they're pretty dangerous. So for me, it's just noise pollution, and to have them in and around, and not only within or in and around, to me doesn't make any sense either. If people want to trailer them in and then take them out somewhere further away, I mean that's that I don't know. But we can make within the rules and regulations of the park that they're not allowed in there.
Go ahead.
Yes, on the topic of off-road vehicles, I don't consider an electric golf course or a golf cart an off-road vehicle. That's something.
Yeah, I think that would be reserved more to ATV dirt bikes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you see like, you see golf carts, especially when you have such a big property, for people to be able to go from one side of the park to the other, especially people with mobility issues. So I think that that's a fair comment, yes.
Any other further comments? Councillor Hunt, do you have anything, any questions or anything to add, please?
Not at this point, no.
Anything else by council?
There's two people that came here that.
We were late for your team.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, any more questions for the applicant? No, okay, thank you so much. Okay, I'll need your name. Are you gonna speak?
Yes, my name's Helgi Bell and this is Buelow.
Okay, you'll have to come to the, because we're on Zoom, so you have to speak in that mic. And it's Helgi.
Helgi.
Yeah.
And the last name is Bell.
Bell. And your address?
Is 429 Chalet Beach Road. And mainly our concern, a lot of it was covered with what everybody was talking about. It's just with more people, there's more trespassing and vandalism, which we had a number of issues at our cabin, and we put up signs, excuse me, and people just ignore it and rip down the signs. And my brother's vehicle was burnt a month ago there. And, so we were just concerned about increase of people and traffic, that it would give more problems in the area.
Okay, so this is 429, that's your cottage? Like
Yes,
it's not
yes.
year round.
Our cottage, yeah. Actually, it's my parents' cottage, but me and my brother and sister go there quite a bit.
Yeah, I have a question for you. You said vandalism and trespassing. Why is that?
We put up signs and stuff, and
so why do people trespass? Why do you have so much of a problem with people trespassing?
Well, we don't mind people enjoying the beach and stuff, but when they trespass, they leave garbage all over. We tell them, like, our concern is when they're fishing, people come and fish right in our front yard area, and then they leave barbed wire hooks, and the kids get hooked. Like, there's a few of my nephews and nieces that got stepped on hooks and stuff.
But that's on your private property.
Pardon me?
That's on your private property?
Well, they come right over our private property to go onto the beach, and then, hey, if they go down the ways, okay, whatever. But there's been a problem with people leaving messes there and garbage all over and starting fires and breaking into our cabin and stealing a bunch of our materials. Like, that's happened several times, especially, and it's increased over the years. When we were first out there, I believe it was 98 when my parents purchased the property there. And it was good up until about the last 7 to 8 years. And then as the years went by, just more vandalism. There was somebody pulled an RV trailer right in our driveway. And we reported it to the police. And well, it took about 3 days to clear up the problem, but it eventually got cleared up. So that's just our issues, right? There's more people there. Looks like there's going to be more problems. I can't see it decreasing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I was just before you go there, you also mentioned vandalism. And my question to you is, why do you have so much vandalism there? What's the cause of it?
Well, it was actually at the end of our approach that's where a lot of the fishermen in the wintertime before could go onto the ice. So it's we're at the end of the road there, and it's just more convenient for people to come down the road and then,
Yeah, that's in the winter time. I'm talking the summertime.
Well, summertime too. I don't know why there's vandalism there, but there's just is.
Us and the neighbor help.
Pardon me?
And us and the neighbor.
Yeah, they get vandalized as well too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Before we go, right here, our planner, you mentioned there was a question raised about the railway tracks.
Yes,
You have something to add on that?
we received some questions regarding the water servicing and railways. I think we've had some discussion on the water servicing and be a centralized well system, not individual wells. That's clarified. No concerns were raised by Lakeline Railroad during the circulation from what I note. However, there are guidelines for specific setback requirements from the railroad. We could look to mimic what was done at Everwood Crescent as a condition. That was a 15-meter buffer, but that's for dwellings. That's what the recommendations are for. These guidelines are not hard requirements. They're just, best practices. These are not permanent dwellings. So that's where the distinction lies. But we could look at implementing the same controls if deemed necessary by council.
You can look at the development agreement.
Could be done in a development agreement. Yeah.
Okay, does council have any more questions of Brady? Oh, you're right. Did you have anything further? Councillor Hunt, do you have any? I apologize. You'll have to say you're going to speak. I keep forgetting to look up. I'm assuming.
No, I have no questions. I have some comments for later, but I'm okay for questions right now.
Okay, thank you. We'll close the public hearings. Be it resolved that the council hereby close the public hearings for the November 10th, 2025 planning application. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Jordan, seconder. Councillor Fleiker, all in favor. Unanimous, that is carried. We have approved. Pardon? Does council want a 5-minute break? Okay, we'll just take a short recess. Okay, thanks. Council is resumed at 7:33 PM. First item 4.7 zoning bylaw amendment. Be it resolved that council gives second reading to zoning bylaw amendment number 4419 as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Dornbos, seconder. Deputy Mayor Marecki, and the comment by council, all in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous, it is carried. Now this is a recorded vote. Be it resolved that council give third reading to zoning bylaw amendment number 4419 as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Dornbos, seconder.
I'll second.
Oh, Councilor Hunt. Any further comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Council Wander opposed, rest in favor, so that is carried. Resolution for decision for conditional use number 522025. Oh, I have to read it. It's my Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 620200 has made application for conditional use number 522025 for the premises described as Lot 1, Plan 15392, Chalet Beach Road. The purpose is to allow for a recreation commercial use, bracket seasonal serviced recreational facility for camping trailers and RVs on the subject property zoned A80 agricultural general. Therefore, be it resolved that conditional use 522025 be hereby approved by council with the following conditions. Now there are 115 conditions, but I will call upon Brayden, who's got a list after hearing public of concern.
Firstly, condition 7, based on discussion with the developer to be revised to all camping spots shall be serviced via a centralized portable water system and shall be equipped with an individual wastewater holding tank. And I have a list of other concerns. These could be addressed within the development agreement, so we could make that condition 16. Some things that I had heard pertaining to restricting off-road vehicle ATV use, restricting additions or improvements to individual camping spots, a tree buffer or noise mitigation buffer, a on-site management that's like a presence on-site, restricting or furthering what are the requirements of operations on-site there, and a buffer for the railway on the east portion of the site. And if there was anything else that we'd like to include, as always, there would be the final inclusion, any other standard deemed necessary by the municipality.
And that doesn't have to take place today. We could.
That's right.
The development agreement doesn't have to be put in place today. If it takes place later,
it would go to legal.
So specific stuff about off-road use, like they're not allowed to leave the property in an off-road vehicle, would be something we would deal with.
Depends how we want to interpret it in the development.
What I've been hearing today is no off-road vehicles within
the boundaries of the property. If it's a full restriction, we can include that in the agreement.
Right, but I'd like to see no off-road vehicle be able to be driven off the lot.
That there will be none on a lot.
They won't even be allowed to be present on.
No.
I see what you're saying. Okay. I've also seen other campgrounds offer their own firewood, that only firewood burnt on site has to be purchased from the campground, and that would maybe be provided by the campground, and then that way people aren't going out into other people's yards to cut down trees, as some of the people had mentioned that had been a problem.
Yeah, I believe they do that at Selkirk Park. You have to buy it from them, or there's access to it yet to prevent from going in the bush around.
Right. Right. So then people are cutting down other trees on the property or going outside to other people's property.
That too can go to the development agreement. You have anything?
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Council members, do you have any comments, questions? Councilor Dornbach?
One of my big concerns, well, it seems to be if someone addressed there with the off-road vehicles, they can be certainly a nuisance. Would be the 86 units that have an actual tank in it. And environmentally, that kind of concerns me. I would rather have them go into one disposal site and then get it pumped up from there. Because I don't know how much extra traffic there's going to be when different tanks need to be pumped out at different times. So that would be my only real big concern about this spark at this point in time.
But I believe the developer said that's the new way to do it. Digital tanks.
Yes, that's actually correct. The developments, what they do is they have normally a 500 or 750 gallon septic tank for each specific lot. In terms of pumping them out and whatnot, I don't foresee that as being a big problem because first of all, not everyone's going to fill the tank at the same rate. So I can see if the owner is responsible for pumping it out, they're not going to get them all pumped out at the same time. It's going to vary. Okay. The other thing that I would like to point out is what we have in front of us is we have an application for 86 spots for an RV park with 86 spots. We're not looking at the development down the road. That's for perhaps another council to look at. But our focus is just specifically on this application as it stands here.
Any other comments? The only other comment I have, unfortunately, council cannot put any weight to this petition. Yeah, they cannot put any weight. There's rules for petition and we have nothing before us. Councilor Hunt?
So the comments I have, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and all of their comments, all good comments, and their comments that we've all dealt with, me as a councillor for the past 24 years of traffic and roads and B&Es and everything else, but I personally have 3 campgrounds, 2 of them across from my cabin within 200 feet, the other one at the golf course within a mile. I asked the administration, I don't believe there's any or been minimal calls, bylaw or service trackers come in from any of them campgrounds, has there?
No, minimal service tractors from those campgrounds.
Okay.
One this year, and it's like 1, 2, 3 a year, not more than a handful.
Like I said, I like the about the development agreement. It'll address all kinds of controls. It's a lot of the comments have been that the trailer park is going to increase B&Es. Well, on and on and on. We have RCMP come out quarterly. Within St. Andrews, there's a minimal increase in B&Es, never mind around the campgrounds. And like I say, I live around the 3 of them. I think this would increase our bylaw presence. It'll increase the road, making the road better, better maintenance on it, dust control. It's campers aren't disrespectful. Like I say, there's up and down the road in Winnipeg Beach. There's one in Winnipeg Beach. I spoke to the mayor of Gimli a couple of months ago. They just put a new one in Gimli because of the necessity for it. Again, that one is full. I think with the development agreement, we can make this better, everyone, and get more patrols from bylaw. We as the RM have to do bylaw patrols, not from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. We have to do more patrols when there is problems out there and recognize the problems with garbage. There's an organization called Red River Cleanup that does the Red River Cleanup along the Red River, St. Andrews and St. Clements. Maybe we have to ask them with more money put into it to increase it to those areas. There was a comment made that we pay for the toilets and the garbage at Chalet Beach in the wintertime, and the RM pays for it as a whole, but the RM can use it. So that's a good thing. Maybe we have to increase that for some more usage in the summertime, or be more diligent in the cleanup. And even in our own newsletters, have people respect landowners' rights and no trespassing. And, but with that, we can get hopefully better patrols for bylaw and better respect for private property. And what was mentioned, a lot of these problems are already existing. So with better patrols from bylaw and hopefully better respect for the area, we will eliminate that. Another thing these campgrounds do, and there's people that can attest to this, and I probably became friends with many of them, they start off in a campground like the ones in Petersfield, and then they look for a place to buy, whether it be a cabin or a full-time residence. And I know dozens of people that have gone from the campgrounds into being residents of St. Andrews. Even the village of Denauder has gained on the recreation part of it. I bet you 20 or 30 cabins have been sold to ice fishermen for winter use, and they've been upgraded from a 3-season to a 4-season, increasing the tax base in the village of Denauder. So recreation is something positive, and we see it in health issues and everything else, that recreation is a necessity. So I got faith in the development agreement that it'll cover all the issues that were brought up this evening. And I feel for all the people that made the comments, because they're happening now. So hopefully with more presence from bylaw and even RCMP, that we can curb those issues. So thank you.
Council members, any further comment? Okay, did I get a mover and a seconder? Okay, thank you. Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 620-200 is made application for conditional use 522025 for the premises described as lot 1, plan 15392, Chalet Beach Road. Purpose is to allow for recreation commercial use with family trailers and RVs on the subject property zoned A80 agricultural general. Now, the conditions were read out vibrating. Additional conditions are clarified and everything will be included in a development agreement. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Slaker, seconder. Councillor Mondor. Any further comments? All in favor? That is unanimous. It is carried. Thank you. Thank you all. Being resolved that council adopt the October 28th, 2025 council meeting minutes as presented. Now the mover, please. Board class secretary, Councilor Mondor. Any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Draft November 3rd meeting minutes. Be it resolved that council adopt the November 3rd, 2025 special council meeting minutes as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Mondor, seconded by Councillor Triplecorn. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. We have no reception of delegations, bylaws, and policies. Boring bylaw authorization, John Deere grade. Whereas the municipality has approved the purchase of a John Deere 870 grader as per the 2025 approved financial plan. And whereas the John Deere grader purchase amount is $420,403 to be paid from a 5-year debenture that is levied annually as a part of the general municipality. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Arm of St. Andrews authorize the initiation of a borrowing bylaw as a debenture to fund the John Deere 870 grader purchase in the amount of $420,402.17. Mondor, seconded by Councillor Slaker. Was anybody speaking to this?
Well, I'll speak to it. This is to as in our financial plan to borrow to buy a grader. It was tendered. This is the grader that we're purchasing, and we will be putting an ad in the record. and advertising on our website. And then you have, when you borrow, you have to have a public hearing, and a presentation will be made, and then the public has to be ready to be present and ask questions.
Okay, very good. All those in favor? That is unanimous. It was carried. Bylaw 4225, birding bylaw, second reading. Be it resolved that council gives second reading to bylaw number 4425, being a bylaw to control open fires as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder. Councillor Mondor. It's been attached. We discussed it on first reading. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
The blue, is my correct that is the addition of the redefinition of open air fire?
I believe that was discussed at the last one.
Madam Mayor, we have Jordan on the call.
Thank you.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, the blue was the addition. So just for some context, I did a jurisdictional scan across Manitoba, and then I went into the other provinces in Canada. The definition we have is pretty standard for the open air fires throughout all the jurisdictions that I looked at. I took there's just like subtle differences in the definition, so I kind of taken one or two of those, and I made kind of our own definition that I amalgamated into the definition we previously had. So that's why you have two options there. It's either stick with the one that we have, or go with the the combined version. So I'll leave that up to council to make that decision.
Everything in consideration.
So
Council Feeblecorn, fire guy knows.
So you like the blue?
I like the blue.
I like the blue too.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll as presented using the blue lettering.
Yeah.
The blue part.
Blue lettering.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. This will be a recorded vote. Be it resolved that council give third reading to bylaw number 4425, being a bylaw to control open fires as presented, brackets with blue wording. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Steiker, seconder, Councillor Dornbos. Any further comments? All those in favor? Carried, that is unanimous. Whoops, I started taking notes here. Approval of accounts. Be it resolved that council approve the November 7th, 2025 check detail report as presented. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Schleicher, seconder. Deputy Mayor Marecki, any comments? Councillor Schleicher.
There were 5 questions sent in, and our lovely CAO answered all 5, so thank you very much.
And I just may add that we're putting more information down, so when you see more information, it might at first cause you to ask more questions, right? Because you're seeing a lot more than you've seen before.
Which is very nice and helpful, thank you.
Very transparent.
All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Correspondence for action. Manitoba Crime Stoppers. 2026 fundraising campaign. They are requesting RM support. I have here this to be tabled to 2026 budget deliberations. We've never had received a request like this from them before. So everybody's good to table this?
Sure. Okay, but we typically have that in our budget. We did last year, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they bill us like
Okay.
cars are, but this is something brand new. They've
Okay.
not sent to us before. Yeah, it's a budget item.
Yeah.
To be discussed. Yeah. Okay, Santa Parade of Lights, November 29th in Selkirk. Oh, Lisa's not gone, and you know what? Maybe there's something on here. I don't have any resolution on this. I don't know if we're attending. Normally, for the winter parade, it's been the South Hall that participates in the Santa Parade of Lights.
That's it.
Okay, so normally mayor and council are welcome to ride on their, well, it's only been South Hall, or last time I've been here. As long, they have a trailer with hay bales, but I've heard nothing, because for the last couple of years, they never had room for us. Because they have all the kids and wives and families.
That's okay.
So does anybody want to participate in just like the fire trucks go?
Yeah, let them have fun with that.
Yeah. Okay, so this will be filed for info. Selkirk Biz multi-chamber holiday mixer event November 27th in Lockport. All the information is attached. Be it resolved that be authorized to attend the Selkirk Biz multi-chamber holiday mixer event being held November 27, 2025 in Lockport, and that the RM sponsor the $50 raffle sponsorship prize. Who would like to attend? I'm not able to.
I'll give them all go.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Marecki. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconded by Councillor Mondor. All those in favor? Carried. Inclusion Selkirk, be it resolved that be authorized to attend Inclusion Selkirk's International Day for People with Disabilities celebration event being held December 3rd, 2025 in Selkirk. I would like to attend that. Who else would like to attend? Okay. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbos, seconder, Councillor Mondor. All those in favor? That is carried. Oh, the next item, Lord Selkirk meet and greet. The event is December 4th. Well, Lisa wasn't here today. We're coming up with different dates. This is the same date as the ARMS Christmas meeting. So I've let Lisa Chase know at the school division. So she has asked Lisa or I to get back to her with the date. They're going to postpone it till January. So this can just be tabled to the next council meeting. I'll just put on here table to January. Little chapter holiday gala. Be it resolved that be authorized to attend the Red River Basin Commission's South Chapter Holiday Gala, which is being held on November 13th in Morris. Who would like to attend? That's this week. Okay, so we'll table for info. Southern District Community Foundation Retirement Party. Be it resolved that be authorized to attend the Selkirk and District Community Foundation's Retirement Party honoring Beverly Clegg, which is being held December 3rd, 2025 in Selkirk. Who would like to attend? Councillor Sliker. I'm booked already.
Councillor Hunt.
Oh, Councillor Hunt. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Mondor, seconded by Councillor Dornbos. All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. There was also a card I got, was here in the mail, passed around. If anybody wants, there's the email address. You can send the administrative assistant notes of best wishes. She's been there over 30 years, I think. You want? Correspondence for information. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that? We did receive a letter from the minister that we received $31,250.29. for recycling. That's the last item. We have no old unfinished business, new business, fire truck status update.
Yeah, I could speak to that. Jordan and I touched base with, Fort Garry fire trucks, to get a status. And you can see the status is there, but I'll talk to it. The chassis, payment is $194,000, 586. It's anticipated that will be, soon, November, December 2025, or possibly at the start of 2026. And that's the chassis payment. And the final payment when the apparatus is delivered is $711,884. We've got two apparatuses coming. The first is scheduled for Q2 2026. The second is scheduled for Q2, Q3 2026, and the first fire truck will be ready August 26th, and the second will be ready September 26th.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Any comments or questions?
Good news.
Yeah.
Coming quicker than we thought.
Volunteer appreciation 12.2. Be resolved that the Arm of St. Andrews provide an appreciation award of a $50 BizBox gift card to 50 nominated volunteers for the 2024-2025 work done for their not-for-profit St. Andrews organization. And further that a total of $2,500 be allocated for this volunteer appreciation from the 2025 recreation budget, with nominations accepted in December 2025 and announcements made in January 2026 at a council meeting. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Doornbos, seconded by Councillor Feeblecorn. Any comments? All those in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Next item is in camera. Be resolved that council move in camera at 8:00 p.m. to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations, as well as legal and personnel issues. And be it further resolved that the members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is closed to the public under subsection 152(3), and that the committee decides to keep confidential until the matter is discussed in a meeting of the council or of a committee conducted in public. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Mondor, seconded by Councillor Feeblecorn. All in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Thanks, Breen. We're now in camera. Be it resolved that council move out of in-camera at 8:49 p.m. Have a mover, please. Councillor Dornbach, seconder. Councillor Sliker, all those in favor? Carried. Just an update, for everybody from the in-camera discussion. In collaboration with the airport and the RM, a commitment has been given by the airport to continue use of the existing soccer fields to the end of this 2027 soccer season. Also, an update on the rec lands on this road will be presented at the November 24th, 2025 council meeting. Thank you. So that moves to adjournment. Be it resolved that the council meeting be adjourned at 8:51 p.m. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Dornbach, seconded by Councillor Sliker. All in favor? Unanimous, that is carried. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Recording stop.